the conduct of the elections. And what do you find? Peaceful conduct of election, free and fair election. And also, we discovered that in taking the action, unknown to many people, all the national officers of the party were even watching the thing right, and they knew everything was according to constitution, was constitutionally conducted. So the national headquarters had to wade in, and now the results have been upheld. Thank you very much.
All right,
Mike, it's a watershed in the history of Lagos.
Exactly. I think this is a twist to how Lagos politics have played out, especially at the primary level over the years.
And we're going to see the implication of that on the big one in 2019. The opposition party has been waiting for APC to decide who the candidate is going to be. Now that the name is out, maybe we can hear from the other side as well.
Well, exactly. It makes it more interesting for democracy at the end of the day, because it's not about individuals. It's about the system that we are building. We're talking about restructuring after all, and it has to do with constructing a country. If it's been in the state for a long period of time, for about 58 years, and you feel that this room is becoming too small for all of us, or is becoming not too airy for all of us, we can restructure the building one way or the other. Professor Killer,
yes.
The issue of restructuring in India in 1972, yes, the country decided to abolish the issues of traditional rulers and monarchical system, where it became a fully republic. Yeah. In Nigeria, we know that the allegiance of an average Nigerian is stronger to his traditional ruler than even the political ruler of the state, or even of the federation, or at the local level, as the case may be. Yeah. What can Nigeria learn from there, or how peculiarly different?
Or should we just adopt the Indian style?
I don't think there's anything peculiar. I think it's a misconception.
Okay.
Nigeria's allegiance is not to the traditional ruler. It's to their ancestral homes. It used to be the traditional ruler, but these days, because of a lot of things, some of the traditional rulers have bastardized
in some parts of the country. It's still the same.
But there's a very
in the north.
Yeah. In the north, yes, but I can assure you, they've impeached sultans. There was a time you wouldn't dare do that, or depose them. You've seen governors and presidents influence the selection of. I think traditional rulers are overrated. I think they're good. I think they need to find their value. We do not need to abolish them. The Nigerians are. Their allegiance, their sense of identity is to where they perceive their parents come from. I always joke when I meet people and I say where they're from. And they tell me one strange place. And I can hear the accent of the person talking. And I say, but you've never lived there. You don't even know that place where you say you come from. Why do you say you come from there? And you realize that it's because of the way we've been brought up to think. So the allegiance is that ancestral line. What we need to do, and this is where I differ from Dr. Nwanze here. We don't need to pray for miracles when it comes to matters of politics. We don't need the tragic hero. We don't need the class suicide. We need an agreement between us to say, whoever gets my vote will do what I want.
But how do we get that agreement?
See, how we do it?
Because our orientation and our history and what makes us who we are, or maybe even a different situation, may make us not to even agree.
We don't all have to agree. There are some people who do not want restructuring. Instead of demonizing them, we need to legitimize their position and let them come out and say it, so that people can choose what they want. There are some issues.
I agree with you in all of that.
All right, gentlemen, let me put you on hold. Yes. Let's put you on hold and go to Acme Road. Ayo Zumaku, our political correspondent, is standing there by to give us update and also fill in the blank as to what we didn't get when the signal went off. Ayo, it's good to have you on right now. Can you talk to us what the outcome of the announcement is finally now?
Just we allowed the chairman to do that himself. In the last 10 minutes or so, we just finished the official declaration of Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu as the candidate of the All Progressive Congress ahead of the 2019 governorship election in Lagos State. I have Mr. Tunde Balogun, the chairman of the All Progressive Congress in Lagos State. All right, sir. when you are holding on to a result sheet, can you please just give us an idea what you have there in the figures?
The figures, as I earlier said, we had 2 aspirants who contested for the governorship primaries in APC in Lagos State. They are Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, the governor of Lagos State, the current governor of Lagos State, and Honorable Babajide Sanwo-Olu. His Excellency Akinwumi Ambode scored a total number of votes 72,901. Honorable Babajide Sanwo-Olu scored 970,851 votes. These were the figures duly signed by the returning officer and the chairman of the election committee for Lagos State, APC.
His name, sir?
His name is His Excellency, former governor, His Excellency Clement Abri. He has duly signed the results, and this is the original of the results, which were duly signed. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, sir. I think that put paid to the controversy surrounding the governorship primaries in Lagos State. So officially, I can announce to you that Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu is the candidate of the All Progressive Congress. And to validate this announcement, I was thinking that it's the Lagos APC that we actually make the announcement and validate the paper. But what we are seeing here is that His Excellency, former governor of Cross River State, that's Chief Clement Ibri, actually signed the result slip. So if Clement Ibri, the person saddled with the responsibility yesterday, actually signed this result sheet, that is to validate the old process, what was done yesterday in Lagos State. Mike, over to you.
All right. This puts an end to the controversy and the confusion. Ayodele, thank you very much for the updates from Acme Road. We certainly will see how things play out as we get along into the weeks and into the months coming ahead. The ultimate thing is democracy is being rooted and Nigerians are speaking for themselves. Thank you very much.
The margin is mind-blowing.
Well,
and the last time we saw something like this was in 2010 at the general election when the APC, was it APC then or ACN, led with like 1 million votes margin in Lagos. But we'll see how it plays out this time.
We see 72,901 against 970,851.
That's phenomenal.
That's a large. All right, we still have Professor Anthony Killer with us and Dr. Austin Weze here in the studio. We've been talking. Okay, my producers are saying we still have to go back to Acme Road. The state PRO of the APC is standing by, and Ayo is still there to interview him to get perspectives to how things played out. Ayo, it's over to you now.
Yes, we have Joe Igbokoye for this.
I'm afraid we lost that signal there. But just a minute, gentlemen. This conversation is large, and we don't seem to have the time to, explore it into details. But one of the things that we have, identified here is that we are still divided along ethnic, religious line. One of the reasons why the NYC was created was to reconcile the nation, bring people back together. What can be done at this time, such that even the issue of restructuring is not tolerated?
I understand Ayo is back now. Let's hook up.
In Lagos, it shifted to October 2nd. And everybody knows about it, including the National Working Committee. And they came to Lagos. We don't know what happened. We went for the process. I went to vote, and I have the pictures. And we saw what happened all over Lagos. We were surprised when we heard that they said that nothing took place. That if anything had happened, it's cancelled. And we said, no, it cannot be. But the rest is now history, because there was an intervention from the national chairman of the party. His Excellency Adaso Shomole. And thank God reality dawned on them and prevailed on them to sign the results.
How come Clement Igbiri is not here to announce this himself?
Well, he said that since National has taken over, there's nothing he could do now. But they may still do that. They may still do that. They felt, oh, what happened? Why is it that they can't understand why? In fact, they felt that there's no job left for them to do again since the chairman, national chairman, has taken over. They think, but I'm sure they will still, since he has appended his signature, they will still address a press conference before going back to Abuja. And even if they don't do that, I don't think it matters again, since the chairman has signed the document.
Your party is fractured now because of that bitterly contested primary. So how do you reconcile the warring faction before the election?
This is Lagos. Lagos is just like a mini country, and you can understand. It's not something. It's not a small state. It's not a small state, and whoever emerges as the APC candidate for Lagos knows he's going to be the governor. So that you saw the fierce tone, and you're talking about a sitting governor. So you can understand the dynamics of Lagos politics is huge. It's huge in the sense that it's not a tea party. It's not a tea party. So this is not the first time. It will always be like this, because the office of the governor of Lagos is a very huge office, and those who want to occupy that office are not people you can just dismiss with a wave of hand. He must be a capacity-driven person. He must be somebody with courage, bold person. So it's not something you can just. You don't expect the contestant to just go away. There must be a struggle for power. But at the end of the day, the results will speak, and people will move on. It looks as if we don't move on. It's a struggle for power. It's not a tea party.
I want to thank you, Mr. Igbokwe. Mike Nifemi, over to you.
Thank you, Ayodele, for the updates there. We certainly will be keeping an eye to know how things are going to play out there in the politics of Lagos. Now, gentlemen, there's no way we're going to leave without exactly. There's no way we're going to leave without hearing your comments about what we
the
just
news
heard.
I just broke. The restructuring in Lagos.
Maybe Professor Kila will come. For me,
oh, all right.
I mean, because really, it's. I don't want to get into detail because I myself did some investigations yesterday, and a few things that I was told about the whole process and stuff. But it's quite unfortunate, for the sitting governor to be, so treated. But that's democracy, and it's all about the ability to perform. But Lagos is all scattered all over the place. Lagos is a work in progress and all that. And Lagos, like the publicity secretary said, is a mini country. It's 65% of Nigeria's economy, and also more than 60% of the growth that we record in our GDP. Lagos is huge. Whatever happens in Lagos affects every other part of this thing. So we must be careful who we choose to lead the states.
You were once an aspirant. Does this changes the tide for aspiring politicians? The fact that a sitting governor doesn't have all it takes now. It is not certain that because you were governor, you will get a ticket of your party.
It's an interesting thing because it's not that an opponent is coming in to unseat a sitting governor, but within the party system. That shows that, and that's why there's always this struggle for power. The Ambode does not control the structure. If you don't have the political structure of Lagos, you cannot win. Or if you don't have the support of those that control the structure, you're wasting your time.
Right.
And the people that control the structure are saying, look, we are done with you. You know, go rest and do something else.
All right. Or maybe the structure itself.
Yeah.
Professor Killer, what do you think?
Well, I think the next 24, 48 hours, the lonely hours of Ambo, this is a very lonely moment for the governor of Lagos State, in which, you know, the margins are very clear. The next 24, 48 hours will reveal to us another Ambode that we never knew. What it does now will define him forever. Of all arts created, politics is the saddest, because it is where things like this can happen. I'm sorry to see him go. I won't say it. I think that whatever he does now, what we should do as people is to consider it legitimate, whatever move he makes, because the idea of demonizing people for their choices is not civil. You know, we should look at him and let's see what he does, and it will be a test of his character and personality, whatever choice he makes. He has one or two choices. He can either conform or rebel to what it is now. So we'll see what happens. Is that a conform, rebel, or
just before, I would like us to go back to that restructuring thing, because you mentioned one religion dividing us, ethnicity, and all that. You know, if you understand the foundation for the modern day Nigeria, the framework under which the modern day Nigeria was laid, is based on, you know, when the British conquered the North, for instance, in 1903. They found out that the North already have this system of governance. That is,
system.
Yes. So they latched in on that and used that for the rest. And also the role of Christian Missionary Society, CMS, they played, and the Sokoto Jihad in the North. So both forces coming together formed the framework of the modern day Nigeria, which Lord Lugard, you know, preferred that of the northern system and imposed it on the rest of us. That is what we have to deal with. There is no way you take away religion out of our politics.
It's all right.
It is very, very important.
Yeah. We'll get back to that.
Because based on the religious thing, that was at the foundation of this country. So that's one important thing we need to understand. But we need to have enlightened self-interest for us to really move away from, you can't take away religion.
Ethnicity,
but how do we, you know, put aside this and use our religious tenets to actually build up a nation like the US did? Okay?
Professor, let me bring you back to Lagos very briefly. You mentioned the next step for the incumbent.
Yes.
What is characteristic of the average Nigerian politician is that when the primary doesn't favor you, you quickly jump to another available party. And the good thing is, in Lagos, for instance, the opposition hasn't even decided on who to use.
Yes.
Do you see him take that steps?
I don't know. I don't know his thoughts. You know, this is the thing. You do a framework. You just know that in most situations in life, the possible options are normally no more than 3. So you just look at what can happen. You can either remain in the party and conform to the party, or rebel against the party, or exit and go to private life.
What implication do you think this will have on the main election itself next year?
Well, I think in a very sly way, the PDP is right not to show who they would bring forward yet, because there's a logical thing to it. The reason why one person will be a good opponent depends on who is contesting against.
Yeah.
So there's a logic to them waiting for that. If we go by, you see, there's a thing of trust here and confidence in the system. If we go by the margins of victory, which Jide Sanwo-Olu has won, there should be no consequence. You know, it shows you that the whole party is with him. But if we don't trust it, then there might be a confidence. There might be a kind of fracture. A lot of time, the intangibles matter than the tangibles. It is about, do you trust the system or not? If truly the whole of Lagos State APC have decided they don't want Ambode anymore, and then he should just keep quiet. You know, they don't want him. They don't want him. It's sad for him and his friends and family, but that is the reality.
All right.
But if you think there is something on the
Yes, since the Fourth Republic, this is the first governor that would not be having 2 terms, as the case may be.
But also it's an opportunity for Lagosians as well. If Governor Ambode decided to test his popularity amongst the people. If he feels that he has done well, that the people are behind him, the party rejected him and all that, he might have one choice, like you rightly said, could be, look, let me go test my popularity out there.
In another party?
In another party.
Wow.
You know, like Professor Killer said off camera, that that's how we Lagosians do. When we destroy someone,
we make sure you're dead.
You're dead. That's like the mafia. You know, you make sure you're dead. And that is, I just don't pray that that's not the case of as we have it now. But it's very interesting. Yeah, you know, the next few days, next few weeks, we determine what happens, and what happens in Lagos will affect what will happen in Nigeria come 2019. You know, it's very interesting. The opposition, they could say, okay, well, if we feel that this guy is popular amongst the people because of the project ongoing and all that, then we could have him on our own side, and then against the APC. So if peradventure some magic happens, you know, like you said, there's no miracle in politics.
Yeah, exactly. But magic can happen
Magic
sometimes.
can happen sometimes. Just like this magic of emergence of someone.
Exactly.
You know, it's like magic. I never heard of the guy. Suddenly, you know, he's thrown up and all that. But the thing is that if some magic happens, and in general election come 2019, that if Ambode joins another party and wins, that is the beginning of an end, for an era. You know, an era in Lagos.
I think you're a scholar and you're enjoying. You just want to enjoy fun. You like chaos to happen so that you can enjoy yourself. I suspect you're buying popcorn and you want to sit down.
I don't watch a movie.
No, but the point there is, there comes a time, every era comes to a time it has to end.
Exactly.
And something must happen to bring a disruption.
Exactly.
Yes, you know, so sometimes you don't see it coming.
Well, you've seen one era end now, the era of an incumbent.
No, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. You know,
no, it's not.
But the point is
the
that
next 48 hours will say a lot of things.
You know, the point is that if this is at the end of an era, you know, then Ambode could just be the fall guy. That it could be a fall guy, but if it's not an era, well, we see how it goes. But one day, there's an end to an era. Like the former world boxing champion Larry Holmes, when he took over the title from Muhammad Ali, they asked him, "You are Muhammad Ali's former sparring partner, and how does it feel to beat your champion?" He said, "Well, champions come and champions go." Now Muhammad Ali was a champion, he's gone. Larry Holmes today is a champion.
And the next champion.
The next champion.
One of the accusations against the incumbent is that he has deviated from the master plan, that there's a master development plan for Lagos. You know that the style has been that when a governor emerges, he automatically becomes the leader of the party. There are some who are saying that that has changed or has to change. What are your thoughts about
Lagos
is different.
Lagos is different. Other states could be the same. But let me tell you something. In 2003, there was a document by the United Nations, an agency of the United Nations, that they did a study of Lagos, you know, urban renewal and all that. And they predicted by 2027, if nothing is done about Lagos and all that, that the city will sink. It will go below sea level. And that's why you have huge, flooding and all that. And every day, the dense people that come into Lagos on a daily basis is estimated to be about 5,000. 4,000 remain and 1,000 leave. But the point is that if this expansion, urban renewal, this thing we're going on, the roads and all that, these are part of this thing to be able to hold on, okay? So we are experiencing or seeing a new city being reconstructed so that it doesn't sink, according to the prediction of the Agency of the United Nations.
Okay, let's put you on hold a little bit. We're still reeling out some information in here. And the chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos has declared Babajide Sanwo-Olu as the winner of the governorship primary election that held yesterday across the state. Let's bring you that.
we had two aspirants who contested for the governorship primaries in APC in Lagos State. They are Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, the governor of Lagos State, the current governor of Lagos State, and Honorable Babajide Sanwo-Olu. His Excellency Akinwumi Ambode scored a total number of votes 72,901. Honorable Babajide Sanwo-Olu scored 970,851 votes. These were the figures duly signed by the returning officer and the chairman of the Election Committee for Lagos State, APC.
His name, sir?
His name is His Excellency, former governor, His Excellency Clement Abri. He has duly signed the results, and this is the original of the results which were duly signed.
Of the Lagos APC governorship primary has addressed Lagosians.
Fellow Lagosians, I want to stand and thank all of us, thank all of you for the numerous support I have received from everyone. I should seize this opportunity to thank everyone. But first, I think I need to thank the Almighty God who has kept all of us, who has kept each and every one of us, Lagosians, Nigerians, up until this moment. I think all glory and all honor and adoration must go to the Almighty God. Furtherance, I think it's appropriate that I thank our national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has provided a platform for all of us, so many of us that have looked up to him, to a fatherly role, a political landscape that world cannot take for granted. I want to also use this opportunity to thank the national chairman of our great party, the All Progressive Party, the All Progressive Congress, His Excellency Adams Oshiomhole, and the National Working Committee in Abuja for giving us a tremendous support, for encouraging us, and for letting true democracy reflect, for sustaining these direct primaries and letting it be the true test of what it should be. I want to thank all of you. In Lagos State, I think it's appropriate to thank the entire leadership of our party, from the GAC, our numerous fathers and uncles who have held on to this journey, who have demonstrated leadership at the highest level, who has demonstrated impeccable integrity at all levels. I think I hold them very deep levels of appreciation. I want to thank you all. And I want to thank the entire structure that we have in APC, from our National Assembly members, distinguished senators from Lagos State, members of the House of Representatives, especially the Majority Leader and his entire team, the Speaker and members of the Lagos State House of Assembly. I want to thank all the 57 chairmen and all our 57 LGAs. I want to also thank, at very, very, very serious level, all our ward chairmen, our councillors, on all structures we have in the state. Because I know that all of you have worked tirelessly. You've all worked so audaciously to achieving the level we are now. I want to use this opportunity to say that I'm indeed grateful and appreciate all your efforts. I think it's important that I also thank the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, for a good fight. And I want to thank him for giving us also the opportunity to let these direct primaries come to stay, and we're able to have it. I want to thank him. I want to wish him the very best in the remainder of his tenure as the Executive Governor of Lagos State. Lagosians, I think with what you have done for me, I cannot take you for granted. I cannot take this mandate and this confidence, I cannot take it for granted. I will cherish it for the rest of my life. But more importantly, like I've always said, I will remain committed. I will keep an inclusive government. I will be responsible. Integrity will not run far from me. And I will not do things that in any form you begin to doubt my capacity or my capability. I'll make the government your government, and in which you will have access to anything that is required of you to know that governance has actually come to you, as has been reflected in direct primaries that we've had to do. And I think it's important that coming out of this is to say that the entire Lagosians who will be casting their vote in next year's general election needs to see the landscape that I'm willing, I'm ready, and I'm available. I know that the journey has just started. I know that now is the time for us to roll up our sleeves. I know that it's now that we need to engage everybody, all stakeholders, all creed, everybody, card-carry members of APC and non-APC members, who are citizens, who are people living in Lagos State, to join us, to join me in that journey, to join me in realizing the Lagos of our dream, to taking Lagos to a higher level, to taking Lagos to a brighter future for all of us, for our children, and to making the place worthwhile for all of us, where we work and live under a safe and sound environment. I want to say that come next year's general election, let us time together, let us team up together, let us work together, let us journey together, and let us believe that the Lagos will be a Lagos that all of us will be proud of. God bless the APC. God bless Lagos State. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Well, wow. It's official now. You might not know him before, but now he is the APC governorship candidate, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, giving an acceptance speech there.
Exactly. And from the way the Lagos politics plays, because the structures and the peculiarity of Lagos, it seemed like from what our guest said earlier on, whoever becomes the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, sometimes maybe, but however, the people are the ones to decide on that. Professor Killer, what do you see out of there?
Well, I mean, he certainly speaks as if he has won the elections already. You know, he's speaking like an incoming governor. Yeah. I think he spoke well. I was wondering he was reading a teleprompt, apparently speaking of the cuff. Communication is very important in politics, and he has started well on that. I think this election, it is sad for the losers of it, but it must be said that this is for handbooks. This is the way the governor has been ousted. It's something to study, because they've ticked all the boxes of what they need to do. And my comment earlier on saying that in Lagos, when we kill you, we'll make sure you're dead, is the fact that by making sure that the declaration read was signed by the chairman of the committee of the NYC committee, leaves almost no room for protest. So it is fully validated. And you know, if it's we should not have enemies that are bigger than us. It's a prayer that people should learn. You know, these guys will out there, but it says something about the incumbent governor as well. You know, if the whole party, the whole structure, can be totally against you and nobody's out of rebellion standing for you, I think it just says an era is over. And, you know, one should accept that and you know, and take the cue from
Dr. Nweke, his speech seemed to capture appreciation from top to bottom, the party structure, the leadership, and this kind of support that they have shown him. While he's coming here to say that he is returning governance to the party. How does that resonate with you?
Well, it's a good speech, and I like the fact that, you know, he spoke about governance. Because what happens most times is that when you win an election, you still play politics rather than leaving politics and providing governance. At the end of, before 4 years, you pick up your politics and stuff like that. But again, one of the, why, my thinking, just my personal opinion, why the party structure dumped the present governor was because of there's maybe a lack of inclusiveness in which he emphasized. That his Sanwo-Olu, the candidate now for APC, we can call him a candidate.
Yeah,
So
he is now.
Yeah, so he said he's going to run an inclusive government.
Right.
Which is maybe perhaps one of the sins of Ambode, that he didn't run an inclusive government. It's like a bull in a china shop, just moving on and all by himself. But I think his speech is okay, and thanking those, more especially
even thanking the incumbent.
Yes, that's the point I'm making. More especially thanking the incumbent for making him the best. When there's stiff competition, the best. It brings out the best.
It brings out what is in you.
What is in
it
you?
Could be a good.
Yeah,
it could be.
That's right.
Depending on how it goes.
So he has promised to be a good boy to the party structure.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time on the show. Professor Anthony Kela, also Dr. Austin Uweze.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.